Welcome to the May 2019 College of Education Commencement and Recognition of the Teacher Education Program Completion Ceremonies. I'm Dan Clay, Dean in the College of Education. I want to extend an especially warm welcome to the families of our graduates and the ones who have completed the teacher education program. I know the room is filled with parents, grandparents, sisters and brothers, extended family members, friends, and so many others. We are pleased that you're here to help us celebrate and to bear witness to this important milestone accomplishment of the ones who have completed our program. We are most privileged and grateful to have been a part of their lives for these past few years. The entire university community shares in your pride and in your happiness on this very special day. Allow me to acknowledge the many people assisting us with this commencement ceremony today. Please stand as you are introduced and remain standing, and we'll hold our applause. Our sign language interpreter Scotty Van Eisingham. Representing the University of Iowa's Central Administration and conferring the degrees today, President of the University of Iowa, Bruce Harold. Assisting me with the celebration on stage today from our College of Education is Nancy Languth, Associate Dean for Teacher Education and Student Services, and Amanda Hartling-Tyne, Associate Dean for Academic Affairs and Graduate Programs. Please join me in thanking these individuals for supporting this effort today. In addition, we recognize all of our faculty and staff who have contributed in so many ways to the success of our students through teaching, through academic advising, supervising field experiences, and other services throughout these teacher candidates' time in our college. Whether seated on stage or before us in the audience, please stand so we can recognize all of you. I'm thrilled today to introduce to you our commencement speaker, Michael Novogratz. Mr. Novogratz is the founder and CEO of Galaxy Digital. He was formerly a partner and president of Fortress Investment Group, LLC. Prior to Fortress, Mr. Novogratz spent 11 years at Goldman Sachs, where he was elected partner in 1998. He served on the New York Federal Reserve's Investment Advisory Committee on Financial Markets from 2012 to 2015. He currently serves as the chairman of the Bail Project and has made criminal justice reform a focus of his family's foundation. He also serves as the chairman of the Hudson River Park Friends and sits on the boards of the NYU Langone Medical Center and the Princeton Varsity Club, the Jazz Foundation of America, and Artists for Peace and Justice. Mr. Novogratz received his bachelor's degree in economics from Princeton University, and he served as a helicopter pilot in the U.S. Army. Please join me in welcoming to the podium Mr. Michael Novogratz.
I can't see. Well, thank you. I could not be more honored and grateful to be here on such an awesome day. I first came to Iowa in 1986 for the NCAA Wrestling Championships. I was here in the heartland of America, home of Dan Gable and Royce Alger and Tom Brands. It was Hawkeye country. And man, did I get my butt kicked. So I'm hoping I do a bit better the second time here on the big stage in Iowa City. I figure at least you guys won't smash me. While preparing for this speech, I thought back to my graduation 32 years ago. And you know what? I can't recall who spoke or what they said. Sometimes I think I can blame Jack Daniels for that and not the speaker. But it left me determined to leave you guys at least one thing you can remember. This is your day, class of 2019. You have suffered through 4 years of papers, exams, and late nights, and you're literally 40 minutes from the finish line. But I'm going to give you one last lecture and one last assignment. You don't need to take notes, and I promise I'll try to make it a short one. I want to begin with a small story. I always thought it was a story about public speaking. But as I've gotten older, I realized it was about a lot more than that. It was 2005, and I had been asked to give a keynote address for a giant banking conference in Montreux, Switzerland. I was to speak for 45 minutes to 800 of the bank's highest performing salesmen. I'd worked on the speech on the plane ride over. I'd practiced it on the train ride to beautiful Montreux. But then when I walked into the auditorium, my heart started racing. My mouth got bone dry. I was so nervous I could barely speak. When the CEO came up and asked me what I was going to talk about, I had mumbled something and ran off to the men's room, leaving him a bit perplexed. I tried everything to calm myself down. Deep breathing. I said 4 Hail Marys. I slapped myself in the face a few times, but nothing seemed to work. Finally, out of desperation, I thought of Tony Robbins. Now, who is Tony Robbins? Tony is a life coach. He's literally a giant of a man, and he's an amazing public speaker. And I had just seen him a few weeks earlier in front of a large crowd. Why didn't he get nervous? I actually couldn't sort that out in the bathroom, so I decided just to be Tony Robbins and fake it for that day, and somehow I managed to make my way through the speech. So a few weeks later, I decided to track him down. And when I tracked him down, I asked him, why didn't he get nervous? And if it was a class, this is where I'd want you to take notes. Tony said his life was about service, and so before he went on stage, he would think how to serve the audience. In that moment, it's about the audience, it's not about you. He said, you get nervous because you're worried, what are they gonna think about you? It's not about you, kid, it's about them. Yeah, I've used that trick every time I've spoken in small groups, at wedding toasts, and even before I prepared this speech, and it's always worked. And I thought it was a trick. But as I've gotten older, I realize it's a lot more than a trick. It's a way of life. To live outside yourself, to have a larger purpose, to serve. You have all chosen a very noble profession, maybe the most noble of all, and that is to educate. Teachers serve. I'm sure this fine university has given you the skills to succeed. Good grammar, state-of-the-art teaching methods, an ability to write clearly, to reason, and to express yourself. There are students waiting for you, lives waiting to be changed, young men and women waiting to be inspired. But I'm also sure there is part of your education that is still missing, and that is what I want to talk about today. Socrates said, the unexamined life is not worth living. Nothe soton, know thyself. This is an inside job. As I've gotten older, I realize we only have 2 missions on this earth. The first is to know thyself, or as my wife would say, to sort your shit out. And the second is to walk each other home. Most people I've met don't start this journey until they've really screwed up. They've lost a job, ruined a marriage, abused drugs or alcohol, destroyed friendships, or they just can't get out of bed. I started my journey at 33 after doing most of the above. I was a rising star at Goldman Sachs. I was a partner. I was a president. I was a respected man on Wall Street. And then I wasn't. Right after I resigned from Goldman, I literally thought my life was over. I had ruined it. I'm smiling because 19 years later, I know that the truth is, at 33, my journey and the rest of my life was just beginning. It started in a holistic health center in the desert of Arizona, a 28-day rehab program. Now, the 28 days didn't really fix me or change me. No, they just put me on a path of understanding who I was, what forces controlled me, what stories in my life were so strong I didn't realize they were stories. It also started the process of developing my empathy muscles. I saw other people who had screwed up, who had done bad things, who had humiliated themselves. And I realized that each person had undergone some trauma in life, from really big traumas to small, subtle ones. This wasn't an excuse for what they had done, but by understanding what they had been through, I was able to understand that it was possible to dislike someone's actions, but to still love them. I'm telling you all this because I would very much like you to start your journey without having to lose a job or go to rehab. I'm telling you because I've gotten older, I realize the people who I know, who glow, who radiate joy, are the people that get to the bottom of their metaphoric closet. And at the bottom of that closet, they all find love. Not the romantic love of movies and novels, nor the self-love that ends with too much plastic surgery. No, the love I'm talking about is the love you saw in Nelson Mandela's face when he left prison after 27 years. The love that radiates from my own father's face. A love that is a homecoming to yourself. So how do we get there? I really wish I had a magic wand that I could wave all over you. These beautiful smiling faces. No, but this journey is one you must take by yourself. It's not easy and it takes work. The best I can do today is give you some signposts that will help point you to that trail. The good news is most of you have already started this path, though you might not know it. It's the relationships that we learn most about ourselves, with our parents, our siblings, our friends, with authority, our lovers, and with our children. The biggie, the 900-pound gorilla in the room, for all of us, is our relationship with our parents. I see many parents in the audience today, smiling, proud, and full of love. Give all of them a hug and kiss and let them know how grateful you are for their support. But there's a little secret. No matter how hard they tried, how much they loved you, they screwed you up. There are 7.5 billion souls on this planet and 7.5 billion people whose parents have screwed them up. It's the human condition. Early on in your know thyself journey, you will try to untangle the web of your parental relationship. They loved you too much. They didn't love you enough. They didn't buy you the cool sneakers. They liked your sister a little bit better. They didn't go to your softball game. They hit you. They told you you were too skinny or too fat. But guess what? I'm here to tell you that they really didn't screw up. They did the best they could, period. And now it's on you. The healthiest people I have met, the healthiest people I know, understand the parental story, and then they let it go and just love their parents. It's not easy, and for many of you, it will take years. Heck, some of you don't even know you're mad at them yet. I'm smiling because this too is part of the human condition, and I am very confident that all of you will learn to understand that. So how do we find our way home? How do we know thyself? To start, there are countless books written about this journey. The first one I read was called A Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck. I think my wife has actually read over 1,000 of them. What I'm asking you today is to commit to walking that road. What do I mean? For starters, pledge you will take 1 week a year to focus on yourself and your growth. This means a week without your families, without your students, your friends, or your lover. People have 1,000 reasons why they can't give up this time. I recently asked a group of 700 wrestling coaches how many spent a week in the past 5 years on themselves, and less than 4 hands were raised. So don't nod and think it's easy. Life always gets in the way. When you step back, it's quite ludicrous that as a society, so few of us invest in ourselves, our own mental and spiritual health. So this is my assignment, and it's a lifelong one. One great way to learn about yourself is travel. Class of 2019, as beautiful as the Iowa cornfields are, you need to see our country and the world. You never really get to know a person or a culture until you have proximity to it, until you break bread at their table, walk with them, hear their stories. Besides being a ton of fun and fascinating, in doing this, we also see ourselves. We see how powerful our stories are. We see that our way of life is just a story. It's not the right story or the only story. I promise you, every dollar of your hard-earned paychecks you spend on travel will triple the value of anything that comes in an Amazon Prime box. Now, if you were a class of New Yorkers, I would assume 50% of you already had shrinks or therapists or expanders, as my therapist calls himself. Class at 2019, don't be afraid of mental health. Embrace it. Having a therapist is a luxury, not something to be ashamed of. I've had 6 in my life, and each one has helped me understand myself better in some way. You need to be part of the generation that destigmatizes mental health, that realizes we are all mental health patients. I do know that therapists aren't free, but I tell you what is: meditation and prayer. My wife and sister wrote a book called Just Sit, a meditation guide for people who know they should but don't. That's about most people I meet these days. I hear all the time, it's not for me. I'm not that kind of person. My brain doesn't work that way. I smile. These are the limiting stories we all have. I remember being a sophomore at Princeton and saying the same thing about modern art. It looks like a 3rd grader could do it. Not my thing. What's it, a black canvas? I could paint that. I'm smiling because now I have a modern art collection. As soon as I let the limiting story go, a new world was available to me. Same with the benefits of meditation. We can all breathe. And every bit of science says 20 minutes a day will help you in almost all facets of your life. So breathe. I'm a talker, a storyteller, a really hyper-social human being. That's my story. Yet 2 years ago, I survived an 11-day silent Vipassana meditation. Yes, no talking, no phones, no music, no exercise for 11 days, just myself. And I learned something about myself. For many, faith is a big part of your journey to know thyself. It's the personal experience of God that will help transform you. Don't take the preachers or the priests or even the Bible's word for it. Get close to God. That takes a practice. It takes slowing down and developing a dialogue with yourself, with God, with whatever shows up. Meditation, prayer, some contemplative practice, they're all the same and essential on your journey. It's connecting to this inner voice, to this universal consciousness that will bring you growth. This year, to go one step further, I went to Costa Rica to an ayahuasca healing center. Ayahuasca ceremonies are an ancient Peruvian tradition where you drink a wickedly strong hallucinogenic tea and then spend 4 to 5 hours in a very different state examining yourself. I had so many friends that thought I was crazy for going. They had stories about hallucinogens that were dated and fear-based. My week at the health center was as intense as any I had ever had and left me positive that it was both beneficial to my path and that plant-based medicines for therapy have a very big future. I want to be very careful about not endorsing recreational drugs. I do believe that hallucinogens like psilocybin and DMT will be part of the mental health toolkit in years to come. You live in an exciting time when this new path to self is being studied and legitimized. The big lesson I learned on my last ceremony was that this medicine and meeting was meeting me where I was. And that was gentleness. You all must start by being gentle to yourselves. It's really impossible to be gentle to your students, to your children, to your parents or spouse until you learn to love yourself. Well, this might sound obvious to many of you. It took me 54 years before I really understood it. And it was with the help of a loving Peruvian shaman in the middle of a jungle. Class of 2019, sometimes you must go to great lengths to know yourself. Be brave. This journey to find oneself takes courage. Signing up for Tony Robbins' Date with Destiny, or starting a new meditation practice, or even going to a plant-based medicine health center, all takes pushing yourself into a new zone, allowing yourself to look foolish, to be a beginner. Do your own research on what path feels right for you. There is a giant industry dedicated to helping people along this road, but my message is to take the road less traveled, to stumble and fall, but to stay committed to growing and learning. You will find that happiness and fulfillment and love is an inside job. Your success in this assignment will trump any awards you might get in your outside life. And finally, while I said I would give you one assignment, it's actually two. As you grow and learn, your life will be richer if you remember to walk each other home. You can take that any way you want. It might mean being nice to your brother who has issues or your neighbor who's old and sick. It might mean volunteering at church group or starting your own NGO. But class of 2019, the world needs each of you to see it as a giant interconnected fabric. As you get more personal and financial resources, your help can and will take a different form. But start now. Start even though you haven't sorted all your shit out. And so we are ending where we started, class of 19. Go forward and serve. You are our country's future, our planet's guardians, and now our children's educators. Thank you for letting me share this day with you. You deserve to feel great pride in what you have accomplished. And tonight, I'd love you to celebrate Iowa style. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Novogratz. Good afternoon. Each year, our students are asked to nominate a faculty member they feel made a significant impact on their learning to share an address with us. This year, our students selected Professor Renita Schmidt as their faculty speaker. It's my honor to introduce my friend and colleague, Dr. Renita Schmidt. A former elementary school teacher, Dr. Schmidt holds a BA from Iowa State University, an MAT from Morningside College, and a PhD from the University of Iowa. She spent 6 years as a faculty member at Furman University in South Carolina before returning to Iowa as an associate professor in 2011. Dr. Schmidt is program coordinator for the Language Literacy and Culture doctoral program, and she previously served as program coordinator for the elementary education program. Dr. Schmidt's research and teaching focus on critical analysis of children's literature and the methods and materials elementary teachers use for literacy instruction. Her research has been published in journals including Language Arts, Journal of Literacy Research, and Journal of Language and Literacy Education. She's co-author of the book 21st Century Literacy. Additionally, Dr. Schmidt was co-director of the Strong Girls Read Strong Books program, an after-school book club that served young girls in a high-needs school for over 5 years. As a faculty member in the Language Literacy and Culture program and as co-director of the Strong Girls program, I've had the privilege of learning a lot about teaching from Nita. Today, I want to share a few of those lessons with you. First, Nita approaches all of her students with compassion and unflinching honesty. I've listened as Nita tells students things like, "You're a capable student. You know this material, and you have unique insights to contribute. But you also know that this paper isn't your best effort. It's not done yet. Now let's talk about how you can finish it." Second, Nita believes in her students' strengths and doesn't let them dwell on their weaknesses. In working with 4th through 6th grade girls in the Strong Girls program, I've seen Nita sit with individual students who are tired, frustrated, or struggling with self-confidence. And I've heard her say things like, "No, you're not a bad reader. I don't care what the assessment said. I've seen you tackle tough books, and you can do it. Now let's read together." Finally, Nita knows that teaching requires reflection and improvisation. I recall a hot Friday afternoon in late spring at Strong Girls. The girls were tired of school and just couldn't seem to get focused. Our pre-service teacher volunteers were frustrated. Maybe we should ask the girls to sit in desks rather than sprawling on the floor. Maybe we should ask them to raise their hands rather than talking over each other. Maybe we should feed them carrot sticks instead of cookies. Nita listened and said, "Or what if they just need something to do with their hands?" The next week, Nita came in with a crate full of yarn. Within a few minutes, Nita had taught all of the girls to finger knit, and they were joyously knitting, reading, and talking about things that matter. And that's what I admire most about Nita's teaching. It's always about things that matter to her students. Everyone, please welcome Dr. Renita Schmidt.
Wow, I have to stand way over here and I have to read a script. It's not going to work very well, I'm just going to tell you. We're so happy for you. Thanks for inviting me to speak tonight. I want to welcome everyone on the platform and just tell you all that I'm really, really excited for you. You're coming into our profession. We welcome you. I hope you love it every bit as much as I have. You've not only graduated from college today, you have completed a rigorous teacher education program, and that's the other thing that we all are so happy about for you. I went into the room in the back before we were getting ready to process out here tonight, and I saw so many of you. I never remember who's graduating because you all get kind of mixed together. And my question to the people I know is, how is student teaching? So many of you have student taught just this past semester, and you told me with this joyous face, it was wonderful, it was fabulous. And you know, we see that on your course evaluations, we see this, it was the best time of my life. I learned the most that I've learned at all in my semester as a student teacher. And of course, I tried to smile at you, but all of us are thinking, that isn't really what we want to hear. We feel like we lose you when you go to the classroom, but we're also really happy for you. So I'm going to think way back 43 years to my student teaching semester, and you're going to have to bear with me for a minute. Yeah, it was 100 years ago. It was when open schools were all the rage, and so my student teaching semester was in an open school where there were no walls, and the library was in the middle of the big space, and it was supposed to mean that children could fastly move from one section of the school to another so that everyone could be taught in the right way for whatever their ability was. I went back to visit a few years ago, and it's a traditional school now with walls. So when I was there, I thought it was great. The noise was crazy, and there really wasn't a lot of moving fastly either. I remember I had a rotation in 3rd and 4th grade, and then I went to 5th grade, and I got sick the 3rd day of school. Anybody get sick while you were student teaching? Yeah. So all the kids have germs, and we get them when we're student teaching, and I got sick, and I missed a couple of days of school. And then I knew that I was supposed to teach a math lesson to a small group of students when I came back. Yeah, Robert, can you imagine? And I thought for some reason I would get a grace day because I hadn't been there, but no, my cooperating teacher expected me to teach, and that was probably the worst math lesson I've ever taught in my life because I had no idea what I was doing. And I remember saying to my friends, really? You can't be sick when you student teach because they just expect you to just do whatever you're gonna do when you come back? Well, so then I went to my 5th grade rotation, and my teacher got sick. My cooperating teacher got sick the 3rd day of school. And, at that point, I'd been student teaching for 8 weeks. So I thought, I got this. And the substitute came in, and I said, I can do it. I've been watching this guy for 2 days. I can do this. And so I did it, and I thought I was great. And I think it was terrible. Yeah, I took up his discourse, I took up his ways, but it wasn't me. It just wasn't quite right because it wasn't me. And that's what's so fascinating about this profession. You bring yourself to it. When I think back to those days so long ago, I ask myself, so what is this teaching profession anyway? You are so much better prepared than I was in 1975. But still, what is the essence of what it means to be a teacher, a really great teacher? Sure, you all know everyone has their own ways of teaching, but at this point, the heavy responsibilities of being a teacher are also heavy on your mind. You are charged with enacting curriculum, using a variety of methods, helping every single student learn, considering all those uniquenesses, taking special consideration of students who have different ways of learning than you do, and different interests and different abilities. How can anyone do and be all of those things? Well, welcome to the world of, I don't know what I don't know. But welcome also to the profession that encourages inquiry, asking questions, and finding answers. I know now, and I hope you do, that one of the most important things about a teacher ed program is to help you learn and realize your discourses and ways of teaching, your strengths, your weaknesses, your knowledge, and even every little quirky thing you do. So please let me reflect a bit more on how I think our teacher ed program helped you come to those ideas. We've taught you to connect theories to practice. As Linda Darling-Hammond says, there's nothing as practical as a good theory, and in fact, there's nothing as theoretical as good practice. When you step in to help a student with a complex math problem or to wrestle with an ethical situation in a story, we remind you that you are mediating the way Vygotsky taught you. When we've placed you in a school setting to observe, to work one-on-one, then work in small groups, and then work with whole groups of children, we are scaffolding your learning. We've asked you to reflect on how students learn. We've asked you to reflect on how you learn and how you assess student learning and the effective teaching strategies for optimal learning. We've tried to nurture, nudge, and challenge you to problem solve, create, and synthesize your knowledge of subject matter and teaching pedagogy to present that thinking in powerful ways that will translate to productive learning for all students. At this point, you know that different things work for different students, and that's a major part of realizing what it is you don't know about what you don't know. We've asked you to constantly critique your own practice as you continue to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And I'm pretty sure that all of you know that every single context matters. You've heard it 100 times if you've been in my class. You must know your students intimately if you're going to help them learn to the best of their abilities. A superb idea for a lesson goes well sometimes and it falters at other times. You know how to think deeply about that and figure out what it is that made it not work in some circumstances and succeed greatly in others. Did you know that knowledge of learning, teaching methods, and curriculum are even more frequently found to influence teaching performance and often exert even stronger effects than your knowledge of subject matter? It doesn't mean that knowledge doesn't matter, however. We've encouraged you to ask questions, to inquire, and then share that curiosity with students. In the past 10 years, there's been a lot of research about what makes a difference for student achievement, and it's now clear that the single most important determinant of what students learn is what teachers know. Inquiry in teaching involves problems of practice that build professional judgment grounded in theoretical and practical knowledge. In 1929, John Dewey taught us to create classrooms where students construct, create, and actively inquire about the world. A classroom like the one he describes empowers teachers with greater understanding of complex situations rather than controlling them with simplistic formulas or cookie-cutter routines for teaching. And it liberates and enables teachers to see new problems and devise new procedures that make for diversification rather than uniformity in teaching. When we asked you to figure out kids in your field experiences and create curriculum that was unique for them, we were following Dewey, nurturing you and asking you to hone your problem-solving abilities so that you would see a wider range of alternatives to select than from those provided in a standardized curriculum. Your classrooms can be the most interesting classrooms that education has ever seen if you embrace Dewey's ideas. Continuing to think along those lines, you are beginning your teaching career at a time when students are becoming more diverse in the United States than at any other time before. That comes with new challenges and concerns. Education is a system that copes with many myths and assumptions about who it is we teach. And it's filled with experts at schooling because of all the years everyone has spent in school. I want to remind you again that if you know your students, you are going to know more than most stakeholders about good decisions to make with kids. Teaching with an inquiring mind will help you learn how to look at the world from multiple perspectives, including those of your students whose experiences will be radically different than your own. As Lisa Delpit notes, we all interpret behaviors, information, and situations through our own cultural lenses. These lenses operate involuntarily below the level of conscious awareness, making it seem that our own view is simply the way it is. I impeach you to be the kind of teacher who strives to develop an awareness of your own perspectives and work hard to avoid that egocentric bias that limits your understanding. Lula Brandt, a former president of the National Council of Teachers of English, talks about the word magic that swirls around many issues of education. One of the most important issues that's been swirling for some time now are educational issues related to poverty. The word magic connection I'm talking about is when someone says education is the way to end poverty. Education's not the way to end poverty. Did you hear me? Education's not the way to end poverty. The statistics from the last US Census tell us that in the US, you are 2.5 times more likely to be a rich adult if you were born rich and you never went to college than if you were born poor and graduate from college. Poverty brings trauma to children and families, and schools are currently not equipped to handle those traumas in a variety of sensitive ways. The students you teach in the coming days all have the right to imagine and wonder about the world. To feel engaged as critical learners, I hope you teach with those goals in mind and work to help the world understand that we must address poverty together, helping you develop the ability to see beyond only your own perspective, to put yourself in the shoes of the learner and to understand the meaning of that experience in terms of learning, is perhaps the most important role of universities in the preparation of teachers. You are committing yourself to a life of service and continual learning. We hope you will continue to wonder about better ways to teach and learn during every single minute of your teaching life. Show kids who you are by sharing your daily discourses or ways of being. Write about your experiences as a teacher and reach out to others in your scholarly teaching community for conversations that will clarify your own thinking and help you answer your questions. Let everyone know that you think deeply about your profession and the students in your care. Never quit wondering about what it is that you don't know. In her seminal work, Teaching to Transgress, Bell Hooks reminds us that we have the opportunity to listen and ask of our students, what do you need from me in order to learn? And how can I help you? I challenge you to remember those important questions because you're a teacher and you should be so proud of yourself. Please go and do good work.
Thank you, Nita. It is now my pleasure to introduce our student speaker, Kedibona Oaks. Kedibona is simply known by everyone as Kedi, like spaghetti. He was raised in Dubuque, Iowa, by way of Walvis Bay, Namibia, his birthplace. His path to becoming a teacher had a few detours along the way. After attending Loras College for a semester, Kedi studied business at Kirkwood Community College here in Iowa City. He ultimately made the decision to pursue education at the University of Iowa. We could not be more pleased with that decision. Even though in the past he had resisted the idea of teaching, his high school teachers at Hempstead High School inspired and encouraged him to pursue a career in education. He quickly discovered his passion for the profession because he truly loves interacting with humans from all corners of the world. And what better place to do that than in a classroom? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium, Kedi Oaks.
Thank you, Nancy. Before I start and get too far along and start rambling as I tend to do, I want to do two quick things, and that's give a shout out to everybody that's live streaming this. I just want to say hello to you all, especially Craig and Rachel Denlinger for bringing a new baby into this world. What up? But then I also want to give a shout out to the faculty and staff of the College of Education for nominating me to speak on this very special day, even though I was very reluctant to accept this nomination, only because I envisioned this afternoon starting at a happy hour downtown somewhere. But it is an absolute honor and privilege to be able to address you all today, and I made it to the happy hour anyway, so all's well that ends well. College of Education class of 2019. A lot of you have been a support to me at some time during our years at Linquist, so I'm asking for that support one last time. I just need you to fill in the blank at the end of this phrase, which I know you've all heard before, okay? You ready? Those who can do, and those who can't teach, that's right, A+. We've heard it a countless number of times, and unfortunately, some of us might still continue to hear it. And no matter how many times I hear that, it never ceases to amaze me that people truly subscribe to that belief. I know for a fact that this phrase couldn't be further from the truth, because without the skilled and compassionate teachers and mentors I've encountered in my life, I wouldn't be standing here today. So please allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Kedibona Nirvano Garere Ox, but you can just call me Kedi, as Nancy said. And I have to use the spaghetti line sometimes, but I also say it's like ready, but with a K. Now, I could tell you the same story that I have to tell people when they start questioning where exactly in Africa is Namibia, or how did you end up in Iowa from so far away? And then I typically have to start explaining how I was homeless at the age of 15, et cetera, et cetera. But I promised the bartender at Mosley's that we'd be back in time to still get the buy one, drink one, get one for a penny deal. You guys know what I'm talking about. Rather, I'd like to start with something that my father told me when I was in 8th grade. I remember it being Sunday afternoon watching tennis with him. You see, the thing about my dad, even with all the master's degrees that he had, which are like, I think around 3 or 4, my mom's got to fact check me on that. He worked the night shift for the Telegraph-Herald in Dubuque, Iowa for 10 years. That meant that he would grind from 12 to 7 or 8 in the morning and then sleep all day. But Sundays, that meant we got football on TV, and my dad's a big tennis junkie, so we would watch the men's final Sunday afternoons. So I remember this particular day, we were probably watching Rafael, Nadal, and Roger Federer go head-to-head, and we were eating the usual meal on Sundays of like pig's feet with cheddar broccoli, rice, and I asked him something innocent like, Tiba, which means dad in my native tongue, Damaranama. How come we're the only family that like eats food like pig's feet and liver with onions? And my dad didn't even glance up from his textbooks, which at the time looked like New Oxford annotated Bibles to me. And he just said, because Karere, we're different. Not everybody's like us. I struggled to kind of like figure out what he meant by different. But looking back on this moment with hindsight, I'm sure I was thinking, well, duh, there aren't too many black families in Dubuque, Iowa at the schools that I attend. But I've talked to my dad lately on the phone, and he iterates the same message again and again, saying, not too many people are built like us. So just please believe me when I say it is a true blessing to have endured some of the pains and struggles which I have and still be able to stand on the stage before you today. My hope is that these struggles are what make me the teacher I need to be for the kids who have had their own struggles. My hope for you is that you see these trials and tribulations as a gift to meet adversity with opportunity. I haven't had the chance to interact and have personal relationships with all of you, but I want to thank you all for showing me that I wasn't the only one that was different. We've shared some of the same struggles unique to pursuing our dreams of being educators. If you told your parents or your loved ones that you wanted to be an educator and they supported you right from the beginning, then I hope you've taken the time to properly thank them. But there are some of us that didn't have that initial support. And now words are important to an English major, Dr. Schultz. So I'll emphasize it one more time. Initial support. Figuring out what you want to do for the rest of your life is hard enough, but adding the pressure of not receiving that initial support from the heart of your support system makes it that much more difficult. I can't speak for all of you, but I know that was my experience. Hopefully our passion and dedication to this noble career changes their minds. But honestly, it doesn't matter. What matters is that some of you will have a kid like me in your class. A kid like me who was on the verge of giving up and feeling no purpose, who looked to his teachers and his mentors to get him believing that tomorrow was worth living for. Not everyone can do that for a child, but you all can. To all the parents, guardians, and loved ones that are in attendance today, I want to thank you for trusting us in pursuing a career in which we're passionate about. There's no doubt that we've all been headaches in your lives, and some of us, if not most, will continue playing that role. I hope I can speak for all of us when I say that without you, none of this is possible, and I want to take the time out to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Now I want to coin my own phrase. Those who can, teach, and those who can't will never understand. I've struggled to explain to many the importance of my job as a future educator. I've struggled to explain that I'm not in this career because I'm only passionate about English and literature. I've struggled to explain that I'm not in it for the money, or lack thereof. The reason I chose this career is because of the privilege of getting to work with students and learn from them for 9 months out of a year. The reason I chose this career is because I enjoy leaving a positive impact on a student who feels like they've never had anyone in their life that cared about their success or well-being. The reason I chose this career It's because I'm different. I'm not up here to tell you that we have the most important job in the world. To all the parents here, nothing compares to what you do. Lawyers, doctors, nurses, businessmen, and women, I could go on. But never forget, everyone in this room needed a teacher. Dean Clay, Amanda Tyne, Amy Schultz, my guy Mitch Kelly, Ann Rocharik, Nancy Languth, and any teacher or professor that I was privileged to have as an instructor. Thank you. Dima and Tiba, also known as Mona Lisa and Reinhard Ox, Kelly Donovan, Jim and Lisa Goodman, Mike and Rosie Denlinger, Molly Rose, and many more that I don't have time to name but deserve all the praise as well. Thank you. Last but not least, College of Ed, class of 2019. I'll leave you with these words. By staying up all night working on submitting lesson plans and Ed TPA by the deadlines, we took on the responsibility of having a direct hand in constructing the future of this country and the world. So don't let anyone ever tell you that you're just a babysitter, because you're a leader, a motivator, a role model, an advocate, a cheerleader, a supporter, a risk taker, a mentor, a coach, a counselor, an advisor, a facilitator, a resource, an organizer, a protector. You are a teacher. Thank you so much for your time, and go Hawks.
Thank you, Caddy. You can see why we're so privileged to work with students like Caddy and our graduates today. We're thrilled to say that Caddy will be teaching English right here in Iowa City in Liberty High, so we're thrilled to have him stay in our community. We are pleased to have with us today for the conferring of degrees from the University of Iowa, President Bruce Harold. Please join me in welcoming him to the podium. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts with a major in elementary education please rise? President Harold, these candidates, having completed all the requirements for the degree of Bachelor of Arts, are recommended to you by the faculty of the College of Education for the conferring of this degree.
On recommendation of the faculty of the College of Education and the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents, State of Iowa, I confer on each of you the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Education as qualified and designated. Congratulations.
Will all the graduates please rise? The turning of the tassel is the tradition of gesture by which each student signifies passage from degree candidate to graduate. Please mark your new status as graduates of the University of Iowa and the College of Education by moving the tassel of your cap from the right to the left. Thank you. Graduates, please be seated. Now I would like to introduce again Associate Dean Nancy Languth and welcome her to the podium.
I have the honor of not only sharing with you and celebrating the accomplishment of our college's BA with major in elementary education graduates, but also in recognition of our teacher candidates who have completed their required coursework to be recommended for state licensure to teach in their respective content areas. At this time, will the Bachelor of Arts graduates with major in elementary education, followed by teacher candidates being recommended for licensure in secondary education program areas, please come forward to receive formal recognition.
I am Professor Rory Carson, and I will introduce the elementary education graduates. Please hold your applause until all of the graduates are recognized. Siwei Luo. Ryan Getz. Trevor Best. Nicholas Lee Meyer. Alexandria Sanford. Mary Kallenbach. Gena Tanquilut. Trista McNeill. Rebecca Ciesla. Macy Serna. Congratulations. Gianna Hansen. Sydney Acree. Abigail Marie Hudson. Laura Crawford. Sara Murray. Peyton Ann Huey. Nicole Marie Benish. Sydney Kay Henderson. Kiersten Wright. Mary Dice. Annie Duncan. Emma Fernaro. Ellie Begg. Julia Margaret Stenger. Dorise Nagel. Elizabeth Boxa. Congratulations. Macy Rose Beiser. Cassidy Cole Burkle. Sydney Ray Roper. Carson Christine Gibson. Allison Marie Coffrin. Haley Cox Benson. Olivia Harmon. Kayla Christine Kvetch. Carrie Overland. Jessica Joelle Behrens. Bridget Conroy. Lauren Lee Bisgard. Kathryn Ruff. Emily Crandall. L. Esbaum. Gabrielle Catherine Paulson Yank. Tayla Coady. Brianna Chantel Ward. Melissa Mykos. Sydney Porter. Alexandra Oleson. Macy Simmer. Megan Lurkins. Genesis Jasmine Talamontes. Emily Elizabeth Buck. Mandy Phelan. Paige Rios. Natalie Fobian. Evelyn Ciskowski. Cecilia Manuela Ortega. Ashley Montrose. Are you still at Lib? Ivy Blinton. Elizabeth Ann Wrights. Rachel Dworkin. Allyson Scott. Kassandra Dvoracek. Laikyn Janney. Emily Bike. Karalee Smith. Clarice Kelling. Jennifer Ann St. John with highest distinction. You're fine. Madison Poage. Emily Mae Wiese. Sarah Buto. Thank you. Rose Salovi. Hannah Italis. Sarah Wieland. Anna Erickson. Samantha Milder. Erica Wisniewski. Brianna Hoskins. Congratulations. Taylor Engstrom. Congratulations. Meredith Beal. Congratulations. Claire Hartley. Courtney Maddox. Congratulations. Alexis Wynn. Congratulations. Christina Cothy. Margot Alscheid. Anna Nicolaitis. Congratulations. Jessica Hipner. Congratulations. Kelsey King. Congratulations. Haley Fall. Abigail Block. Taylor Varanikar. Grace Shebler. Congratulations. Savannah Lee Moeller. Daniel Studding. Congratulations. Whoops. William Sinclair Young. Alexandra Elizabeth Egan. Congratulations. Alexa Sabis. Congratulations. Whoops. Kate Crandall Zook. Congratulations. Emily Kerr. Congratulations. William Tornberg. Thomas Feldman. And now, once again, please join me in congratulating the elementary education graduates.
I'm Professor Baldus, and I will introduce the graduates completing the teacher education program in art education. Kate Edwards. Lauren Sutkus. Andrea Campbell. Karalee Killian. Please join me in congratulating those who have completed the art education program.
Hello, I am Professor Amy Schultz, and I will introduce the graduates completing the teacher ed program in English education. Kedabana Ox. Olivia Grubbs. Kimberly Buck. Abigail Suter. Lily Newman. Megan Liederman. Amy Mercer. Jessica Albright. Tiffany Fan. Lillian Banker. Please join me in congratulating those who have completed the English education program.
I'm Professor Wesley, and I will introduce the graduates completing the teacher education program in foreign language education. Lydia Sinclair. Elizabeth Mastriani. Please join me in congratulating those who have completed the foreign language education program.
I am Professor Young, and I will introduce the graduates completing the teacher education program in mathematics education. Jackson Marwitz. Please join me in congratulating those who have completed the mathematics education program.
Hello, my name is Mary Cohen, Professor of Music Education, and let's congratulate Joseph Arch. And Jackson Cole. And Montana Crawford. Congratulations. And Joel Knight. Thank you, and join me in congratulating the music education graduates.
I am Professor Neal, and I will introduce the graduates completing the teacher education program in science education. Allison Warren. Emily Meggie. Anthony Hoover. Daniel Garcia. Neil Hausman. Rain Hoey. Michaela Just. Please join me in congratulating those who have completed the science education program.
I'm Professor Greg Hammett, and I will introduce the graduates completing the teacher education program in social studies education. Jack Sharkey. Jordan Gringer. Caleb Farnham. Michael Van Osbury. And Zachary Weigel. Please join me in congratulating those who have completed the social studies education program. I have to turn the page. All set.
You see, last time I got mixed up. That's why he had to do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, please again help me welcome President Harold to the podium. I ask the University of Iowa candidates for licensure to teach elementary and secondary education in the state of Iowa to please rise. President Harold, these candidates, as an integral part of their university experience, have completed professional studies in the field of education. The State of Iowa Department of Education recognizes the professional goals of these scholars and has empowered the University of Iowa to recommend these individuals for the teaching licensure appropriate to their course of study.
The University of Iowa cooperates with the Iowa Department of Education in preparing students who will teach in elementary and secondary schools in our state, across our nation, and around the world. The University of Iowa takes great pride in fulfilling its charter mission to educate outstanding teachers. To our students who have chosen to enter the noble profession of teaching and who have met the requirements set by the College of Education and the state of Iowa, I will recommend you on behalf of the University of Iowa to the Department of Education for licensure as elementary and secondary teachers. My colleagues and I extend our heartiest congratulations. Well done.
Okay, you may be seated. Graduates, this weekend you will leave the College of Education to start new roles in your professional life in education. Being a teacher, as you know, is a tremendous, tremendous privilege. But it is also a very big responsibility. Sometimes the going gets tough. How many of you at some point didn't think you were going to make it through the program? You can raise your hands. You've already finished. It's okay. I know that sometimes it felt like you couldn't make it, like it was too much, like you wanted to quit. Just remember, when you're staring at those beautiful faces in your classrooms, there will be kids there feeling the very same way. Your job as teachers is to be for those kids the way others were for you when you felt like quitting. To lift them up, to hold them up, to know them as individuals, to challenge them, to believe in them, to inspire them, to push them. We know you've been well trained to do that. And we know you will do that because that's exactly what we expect Hawkeye teachers to do. You have our support, you have our confidence, and you have our admiration. We're very proud of all that you've done and all that we know lies ahead. We have very, very big expectations of you, and may the force be with you. I look forward, as you do, to all these wonderful things that lie ahead. Thank you so much for your choice to be a part of our Hawkeye family. Once a Hawkeye, congratulations and best wishes. Please, everybody, let's congratulate these graduates one last time. We welcome you to join us all for a reception immediately following this ceremony on the second floor in the Stanley Cafe and the first floor Smith lobby, where refreshments will be served. Herky will also be there to party with us. I kindly ask that the audience remain in your seats until the platform party and the students have recessed, and we'll see you in the lobby. Thank you so much for coming.